Okay, now I'm going to go through what I consider training two. Training two is just to start getting you organized in some various different areas of your business. Training one, we talked about, how you're going to start getting booked and who you're going to talk to and those kind of things, and ordering your business cards and some real business basics. Training two is going to be more of zeroing in on some of the big categories that you just have to take a quick look at to get in place to get your business going forward here. The first area I want to start with is what I would term money management. Now, money management is, in my opinion, is probably the number one thing that's the hardest thing for new consultants to wrap their head around and to get going straight in this business. With money management, though, all you really have to think about is this is a business. You have to run it like a business, and you have to start thinking like a business person would. You can't steal from your business. You can't just borrow the money from your business. You have to get on a money-making basis and then run it, just like any other business would. Why I think it's a troublesome area is because it depends on where you start with inventory. Because if you start with lower inventory, you're going to have to go out and sell that product, bring in the money, and turn it over. And probably take 100% of the money maybe for a couple times. If you start higher in an inventory with Mary Kay, you can start on a profit-making basis sooner and start dividing that money like a business person would. So that's a little bit of the tricky part of it. And then also it's just because you have to have a mindset too that you have to spend money to make money. There's not a business that's been born in America that doesn't have to spend money to make money. So in the beginning, you might not feel like you're getting rich overnight, but you have to build it. That's where it goes back to this is a crock-pot business, and you have to get started building it. But I do want you to kind of just think. I want you to treat it like a business. I don't want you to steal, but I do want you to eventually get on a paying scale, because if you don't get paid yourself shortly, you won't want to do this business any more than anything. So here's my theory. It's going to kind of decide on where you start. Like I said, if you start lower on the inventory, you're probably going to have to go out and sell product, take 100% of the money, and build that inventory up a little bit. Now, if you are in need of making a little bit of money, maybe take out a little bit of money in the beginning too, and just use part of the money. But eventually, we're going to get to what they call a 60-40 split. 60-40 split is where you're going to go out and sell product, bring in the money, and divide the money in a 60-40 split, meaning 60% of the money is going to go back in a Mary Kay business. I would suggest you probably put that in an account that's attached to a debit card number or somewhere where you can get that money, because 60% of the money is going to go back in, and every penny is going to be spent on buying new product. Okay? Now, why you take 60% is because of the 60, 50% of that money has to go and buy more inventory for your shelf, because we buy it at 50% off. The 10% of that 60 would be to buy more business supplies on Section 2, like sponge tip applicators and that kind of thing. Or it will also cover the sales tax on that order. So that's why we take 60% of the money you do not touch. You do not touch it if your car breaks down. You do not touch it if your refrigerator blows up. You do not touch the money. Okay? That's the tricky part here. The 40% eventually is going to be what you're going to pay yourself. Now that money, I don't care where you put the money. I don't care if you put it in a cookie jar or wherever, but here's a little advice on your 40% paying yourself. I want you to get to the 60-40 and pay yourself 40 right away so that you are motivated. Because if you are going out and you're making $100 and $200 and $500 fast cash, I don't even need to motivate you. You'll be highly motivated when you see how fast you can generate money in this business. The 40 is yours. The 40 you can put in another account. The 40 you can put in a savings account. The 40 you can put anywhere you want to in another checking account, because that's money you can literally pay bills with or whatever it is you've attached your why to in Mary Kay. Because I totally believe too that when you figure out why you want to make some extra money in Mary Kay, what's in it for you and your family, why do you need to make some extra money, and then you use that money to do just that, you will be highly motivated in Mary Kay. So I want you to really make sure that you do attach that 40% that you're making to the why. Where's it going to go to? What am I doing with that Mary Kay money? Another little warning I'll have with the money too is that I've been teaching in the last few years even is think about paying yourself maybe on a regular basis. Not just go out and have a party, sell an item, come home, take the money and run. Okay? I want you to think of a concept like this. I want you to think about go out and sell some Mary Kay all week long. Go out and sell, 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 sell. every month, or even by the month. Don't care how often you do this. But you're going to bring in the money and divide the money. The 40% is going to go, let's just picture it going into a box. And you put it into a box. And you duct tape that box, or it's going to go somewhere in an account that you do not get your fingers on. Okay? And the slit has to be so you can't even get your fingers in it. And then you put that 40 in there, you put that 40 in there, and then you have a payday. And I don't care if you have a payday weekly, or if you pay yourself monthly. I don't even care how you pay yourself. But if you started paying yourself like a regular job, and you paid yourself like, let's say, every Saturday, or at the end of the month, or twice a month, whatever you do, when you open that box, let's say, or account, and you say, oh, look at the money I've made. That's a different concept than just going out every day and pilfering through money that you make quickly in Mary Kay. And I think that's one of the areas that the consultants do wrong, as I've watched over for many, many years, is they just take the money and run. And then we're going through $20 bills just like that and just like that by the day. And then we never feel like we have a real paycheck, like a real job. So if I was you, I would get that kind of, call it a box mentality, call it whatever you want to, but I'm going to divide my money and put it away. And I will pay myself just like a real job. Imagine how that's going to feel. So that's what I will tell you about the money, but you just have to be careful because it's just you, and you're the boss, and you make the money and you divide the money. So if you are not good with your money, you're going to have to really pay good attention to this. Okay? Now, what I will tell you too is you got to sell. You're going to go out and sell on a sales ticket. Everything you do is going to go on a sales ticket. Okay? And they can pay you cash. They can write you a check made out to you, or you can use a credit card. If you use a credit card, or a debit card, you are going to fill out this top area with the credit card number, the expiration date, and fill it all out. And then you're going to have to go to the Mary Kay InTouch site, and you'll have to develop yourself what they call a ProPay account. Okay? A ProPay account is just how you're going to get to that money right there. Okay? It will be online banking for you. And then when you get done with taking a credit card order, you will take this sales ticket back to your computer or to your phone, or you can even get one of those cute little things to slide on if you want to do it out when you're out doing your parties. That's fine too. But I take it back to my computer. I go to my Mary Kay InTouch site, put in their credit card number, put in all the information it asks for, push send, and within about 24 hours, that money then from this credit card or debit sale will be on your ProPay account. Okay? So your money's there to be used. Now, here's a couple thoughts with that. Now you have that money sitting there. You have a couple choices. Mary Kay does give you a little cash debit card that you can debit out of that account if you'd like to, use part of the money or whatever. But again, it's like an ATM machine. Every time you debit money out of there, somebody's going to take a penny or two. So just know that. But now if you leave the money in there, which is what I do, I leave the money in there. And then I do the next one, and the next time I'm ready to place an order, my ProPay money is still in the account online. And when I go to place a Mary Kay order and I'm checking out, up will come your ProPay balance. And it will say, hey, you have $100 in your ProPay account. Would you like to use it? And then if you transfer that money from the ProPay directly to your next Mary Kay order, nobody takes any money, and it just subtracts it off of the balance of your next order. So personally, I love to manage my money that way. I just think it's almost like a treat that I forget I even have money in there. So that's kind of what I do. But you're welcome to do whatever way you want to do it, but that is the ProPay, and that's how you get your money out of a debit card or a credit card. Just know that the Mary Kay has that system right for you. I do, in my opinion, here again, I do prefer you to use the Mary Kay ProPay just because it is Mary Kay safe. And if you ever had a trouble with a credit card or debit card, you would have Mary Kay Cosmetics to back the problem versus choosing to go with another. There's a lot of them out there. Another person that would, get your money for you too. But just know that Mary Kay has one of the best legal systems and very tight security. So if you would ever have a problem with this, and with all the fraud there is out in the world, I think our ProPay account is the way to go. So that's just my opinion. So that's a little bit about the money management. My theory too is the more money you make, the easier it is to manage. So that's money management from me to you. The second area is time management. Now, time management, getting into Mary Kay, just know that most people join Mary Kay and we already have kids and we already have busy schedules and we have other jobs. Okay, none of that's going to change. A busy woman is going to remain busy. So time management is a lot in your head. If you tell yourself you don't have any time, you won't have any time. If you tell yourself, I'm going to find the time, you're going to find the time. So if you're doing this the right way and you start making money, you'll find the time when you know you can make $50 to $100 an hour. I won't have to talk you into that. Now, with time management though, make sure you're using either the Mary Kay date book or a date book of your choice. I don't care what you use. Make sure though you have the paper date book. I know a lot of people also like to use your phone and use, something else. I don't care what you use, but I still believe in the paper date book. It's just something about you carrying that and you're laying it out and you're seeing your schedule. The paper trail will never serve you wrong. So have a date book. That's why Mary Kay gives you one. So if you haven't gotten it yet, it will be in the starter kit that you're going to be receiving. So along with that date book, lay out your whole life. Lay out everything you're doing. Lay out the kids' activity and your activity and your other job. Plan it out. Most people just fail to plan. Okay? And you'll find you have more hours in the day if you plan it out a little bit better. So plan that date book out. Put it all in there. And then one thing that I highly suggest, if Mary Kay Ash was on this talking to you today, she would have told you to make what she used to call a 6 most important list. Tag teaming with that date book, okay? You tag a list of things to do. Now, I don't care if you use a scratch piece of paper. I don't care if you use one of these pieces of paper that I sent you in your training packet. I do not care which one you use. Some people like to use this one because it's a half little sheet and it does say 6 most important things to do and it's less overwhelming. Okay? If you like that one, use that one. If you have one from somewhere else you like, use it. But the key is making a list every day. And you're supposed to make it the night before you go to bed. You're supposed to, before you go to bed, you're supposed to dump everything that's running through your mind on a piece of paper. And if you did that, you're going to find yourself less stressed and you're going to find yourself getting up and moving faster in the morning and being more in control as the day goes on. Because it's not that we don't have time to do Mary Kay. We just are thinking about doing Mary Kay all the time, and we're letting it in our brain, and it's flying through our head, and it's making us dizzy. Whereas every day, I get up, I look at my list, I have my whole day programmed by hour, and over here I have what I need to do. And so that means when you're stuck in traffic, or you're stuck waiting for kids for a half hour, or you're sitting here, you're sitting there, and you were just wasting time, you could make that one phone call. You can make that one phone call here or there. It's the one things you do all the time that's going to make the difference. You're never going to need gross amounts of time to do Mary Kay. You just need sometimes to do Mary Kay. So fit the sometimes into your already busy schedule and you'll have it. But if you take out of your head and put it on paper, they say the next thing you'll start doing is then you'll sit and you'll grab a pen and you'll just say, oh, I got that done. Oh, and I got that done. And I got that done. And they say that's a big mental release and almost a pat on the back, which a lot of times we don't take time to do. So if I was you, the number one thing you learn from me today is make a list every day. Here's what I'm doing today. And Mary Kay used to say, the most people in the world do not get the 6 most important things done in their given day. So just know that about life. And then I think once you start doing a few of those things, you'll be able to keep, faith first, family second, and career third, if you kind of plan out your days and plan out your time. And then it just comes down to working smart. Then it comes down to working smart using your Mary Kay meetings, using anytime you can, a Saturday morning or a Sunday night or whatever your schedule is going to allow. And then the next thing along with that is just learning to boss yourself. Learning to boss yourself. When do I need to sit down and make phone calls? When am I willing to do what I got to do? Okay? It just takes tough discipline sometimes to be able to say, you know what, kids, we can't go do that. We can't have ice cream until I make an hour's worth of phone calls. But when we're done, we'll go to the pool. When we're done, I'll go here or there. Self-employment is a beautiful thing. I would never work for anybody ever again. Ever would I punch somebody's time clock. But I'm willing to structure myself and to pay attention to what I have to get done in a day. Okay? So just know that. Also, the last thing with time management too is, and working out of your home is a whole different thing than going to work. It is easier to go to a job and go sit at somebody else's and get out of your house and go sit there. At home, you have to be structured so you're not just running to do dishes or running to take kids or, we don't run helter-skelter. But if it's on the schedule, you can take a lunch hour. You can go with the kids to the pool. If you have it all structured out. That's going to help you. And then you're not feeling guilty when you're working or when you're not working. But I'm telling you once, you ever get self-employment and you get it down, you'll never work for anybody else ever in your life again, because it is the best thing in the whole wide world. But it takes discipline, okay, and wanting to do it. But discipline's going to get the job done. So that's, again, a little bit about time management. You're your own CEO. You have to call the shots. You have to be able to follow your direction. And then another thing, too, I think in our busy days, here's a last bit of advice on time management. As you go through your days and you do get called away and somebody bothers you, or you go out here with a little crisis or whatever, how fast can you get back to work? Okay? How fast can you get back on the track? Does one thing bad happen? Are you gone for weeks? Are you gone for months? Okay? Even in a given day, I have been known to, I can get distracted every day. But if I'm working off my list, I can get done with the distraction, get back to my office, get back to my desk, get back to my house and say, okay, what calls do I still need to make today? And that will keep you back on track. So, again, that's a little bit about some time management. And the good news is we're not getting any more hours in the day, so we have to learn to work with what we have. So, and Mary Kay used to say, you can eat an elephant if you ate him bite by bite. That's what she said. And she used to say also, she said, you know what? It's all about your where you put Mary Kay in your priorities. If you put Mary Kay at the lowest part of the priority when everything else in your whole life gets done, you probably won't get around to doing Mary Kay any more than anything else. But if you keep God first, family second, career third, Mary Kay right up there, you'll get it done. Like Mary Kay also used to tell me, if you want brownies bad enough, you'll get the brownies baked. So it's no different than brownies. If you want Mary Kay to work, you'll find the time and quit making time as an excuse. Use time as your friend, not as an excuse. So that's time management. Okay, jumping into the paperwork. The paperwork is not hard in Mary Kay, but the paperwork that you should do, you need to do. Okay, it's not if you get around to doing it. Any business, you have to do the paperwork. Okay, this is called a weekly summary sheet. You have a copy of it in the packet that I sent you. Okay, now a weekly summary sheet is just you going out to sell product, out in the world to sell product, and you're putting on these sales tickets. You're putting, of course, their name and what they're buying and taking the retail size, prices right out of our book, and you're putting tax on that. And then you're collecting that money from the person. Okay, then when you do that all week long, then you're going to have this weekly summary sheet that's kind of a spreadsheet. And you are just going to take the information out of all these sales tickets and put it on the spreadsheet. That's literally all it is. And it's going to look something like this one. You are going to take it, and you are going to write the person's name. You are going to write the time, how long did it take you, how many guests do you have, how many orders. You just go along and fill these blanks out. It tells you right across the top what you're filling out. And then there's 3 categories. Okay? And it talks about a skincare class, a facial, or if it just was a reorder. Now, if it was a class, and Susie over here did a class for you, you would add up, say, 3 people's tickets or 6 people's tickets, and that would be go in the skincare class column. Okay? Now, if you did a facial and you just did Susie Q, okay, and you take Susie Q's facial, and it tells you right here, you're going to put the sales less the tax. So you are taking the subtotal on that ticket and putting it in the facial column if you just did one-on-one facial. Now, let's say you just went to work or you went to the neighbors and you sold a lipstick. You didn't put anything on her face. You didn't do an appointment of anything. You just had a reorder. Okay? Then you just take the ticket for whatever it was and you put the subtotal in the reorder column. Okay? Those are the only way we sell Mary Kay. We put it on a face in a group. We put it on a face one-on-one or feet. And we sell reorders. Then you bring these 3 columns down, and in that box down here would tell you what you sold for the week. Okay? It's a pretty simple sheet. When you run a business, you run it on income and expense. This is your income sheet. You need to fill them out. For your taxes, you need to fill them out, period. If you ever get behind, throw it all together on one and get caught up. There's nothing worse than get behind. So that's my advice on a weekly summary sheet, but you need to fill them out. Then another bit of advice is, okay, you got your sales tickets. The first copy says beauty consultant copy. I want you to tear off that first one, and I want you to staple it on that weekly summary sheet like this. Okay? That was proof to the IRS or me or anybody that's giving you prizes or whatever that This is what you sold. Here's who you sold it to. Okay? That is the proper weekly summary sheet that I was taught many, many years ago. Okay? That's your proof. So, one of the second copies is, we'll say customer copy. Of course, you gave that to the customer. And then there's two other extra ones. The two other extra ones literally are extra ones. If you need to maybe make it late delivery because you ran out of product, you could staple it on a bag and lay it there till your next order came in or something like that. Or maybe somebody did a payment plan with you and you need to leave it lay on your desk somewhere till you get the money, okay? That's what those extra copies are for. If not, throw them away, okay? My opinion. So, but that is how a weekly summary should look, like that. Now, what I do is I have people turn these into me, because if you turn these into me, you win prizes. If you turn these into me, you see your name in the newsletter. If you turn these into me, it's a little bit of discipline, and it's a little bit of reporting to your business coach. So that's why you turn those in. I just have everybody turn them in at a sales meeting. If you're away from me, or if you're in Canada, you can take a picture with your phone and send it to me. That's what I found now to be the new easiest way if you are away from me or out of town from me. Take a picture, fire it to me. Okay? That's what I want you doing. But that is just making you accountable and making you responsible for what you're doing or not doing. Sometimes I think people don't do these because they don't want to see what they're not doing. Just FYI. So, now there's two ways to do this. For years, I used to have this on a clipboard. I would run off a lot of these clean copies of weekly summary sheets, and I'd put them on a clipboard. It laid on the left-hand side of my desk for years as I was building a Mary Kay business. I never laid anything on it. I looked at it all the time. It was in with my eyesight every single day. I knew every week what I was selling or not selling. It was not I don't know where I'm at. Okay? I knew what I was selling. So it laid right there. Or some of you guys like to put it in, we have an office in the book that we do too. If you like it in there, you're welcome to keep it in there too, but I don't care. But there's something about having this where you keep your eyes on it. So that at the end of the week, you know I had a $300 week. I had a $1,000 week. Okay, it's not magical or like, whoops, I didn't sell anything this week. Okay, you make yourself aware by having that out and watching that a little bit closer. So in my opinion, that's one of the biggest sheets of paper you have to be doing at all times. Okay, so that shows your income. Now, I'll have you set up a quick little system on taxes. Now, taxes are not hard in Mary Kay. All you're going to be doing is adding like a Schedule C to whatever you're currently doing with your taxes. But I will tell you, Mary Kay is a great tax shelter if you pay attention to what you're doing. Now, remember I talked about income and expense. Okay, we have to make some envelopes to match income and expense categories. I would have you go buy these manila folders, just like that. And then I would take this sheet that you have in your packet too, that says Yearly Income Tax Recording System. This is what I teach. Now, what I teach you to do is go down there's 13 categories on here. I would have you make 13 envelopes. Okay? And you're going to put these categories on each envelope. Because what the IRS wants to know is at the end of the year, they really don't care by month what you do, but they want to know at the end of the year, how much postage did you have? At the end of the year, how much did you spend on advertising? At the end of the year. Okay? So that's why this is a yearly tax system. Okay, so it tells you right there, number one says make an income envelope. Make an income envelope. Income, 2000, whatever year we're in. Okay? And then, the only thing, remember back, the only thing that shows your income is your weekly summary sheets. So, when you get these back from me, or if you're just taking pictures of keeping them in your own house, but put them in your income envelope when you're done. And you slide them in there. And why I use the envelope system is because you can write on the outside of the envelope. Okay? If you use expandable files and that kind of stuff, it doesn't work like this. The envelopes you can even keep. You have to keep these for 7 years. Your records. Okay? So you need a place to put a rubber band around a whole pile of these and put them somewhere. Okay? But you are going to throw in your weekly summary sheet in the income one, and that's where it's going to live the rest of its life. And on the outside, you're going to write, all you need to track is your weekly sales total is all you're putting on the outside of this income envelope. So at the end of the year, you have 12 little figures of the 12 months, and you know exactly what you sold to Mary Kay. Now, that, in my opinion, is simple. I can do that. And I don't like all this paper stuff. So, that's your income. Now, all the other envelopes, tells you right on this sheet, 2 through 13, is you're going to make one that says class supplies. Things that are going to go in that are like, if you go buy some cotton balls, you need to buy some cotton rounds, and you need to buy some pink washcloths right now. Those are all class supplies to help you do a party. That your original starter kit should go in that class supplies envelope. So that's the first one that's probably going to be going in there. And so you grab an envelope, class supplies, and you start throwing things in there. And again, before you throw it in there, right on the outside, you don't have to sort through receipts ever again. Okay, that's as simple as I can tell you. Now, and you make one for computer printouts for all your orders, so that every time you place a Mary Kay order, all your order receipts that you get whenever you get an order in, you put them all in one envelope. You can have one for postage. Every time you go to the bank and buy stamps, go to the post office and buy stamps, keep a receipt. Every time you mail something to a customer, keep a receipt. There's one on here for travel. Travel is, when you go to seminar, we're going to seminar here real shortly. We're going to be keeping every receipt, and we'll put those in there. If you go to any kind of workshop or fall retreats or anything like that, you're going to keep everything. It's all going to be a tax write-off. Okay? Another thing is meals. You start eating with possibly me or a recruit, or you start holding things in your house and you spend some money on some food. You're going to track all that. Advertising. Advertising, if you buy a banner somewhere, if you put an advertisement in the church thing they're having, or preferred customer program, we'll talk about that in a minute. That's the company mailing system. That's advertising. If you do a bridal fair or a fair or a booth, or you order your business cards, that's all going to go under the advertising envelope. Okay? Meeting expenses. Usually every meeting everywhere in the world has an expense from $1 to $5 to who knows what. But every time, just write those charges down. You do a workshop, write that down. Your telephone bill. Keep all your telephone bills. Your job is to keep the receipts. It's a tax guy's job to figure out what to do with them. So my advice is you keep the receipts. You keep all your phone bills. If you pay it online, yes, you do have to run off the copy. You have to have the physical copy of the paper, okay? It goes down to utilities. Utilities are your gas, your electric, your garbage, your mortgage, your rent, your blah, blah, blah. On and on and on. Lots of utility bills. Keep track of all of them. Every bill that runs my house here goes through my Mary Kay business. Okay, so if you're not doing all right, a husband's job or something, you should probably be doing all this through your Mary Kay business. And he's going to love you when he figures this out. Banking, anything to do with banking, can go in that one. Office expense. Just think what it would take to set up an office. Eventually, the more you do Mary Kay and the more sophisticated you get, you might have a desk and you might have a shelving unit. You might have, I'm looking around my office, clocks and pens and paper and printers and ink for the, you know how much ink costs. I mean, you're not going to be writing off your ink with your printers and your copy machines and all that stuff. So you want to write all that off. Okay? Anything you buy that would run an office. Think about what it would take to run an office. Everything can go in. Wastebasket, a chair, new office chair, whatever you're buying, write it off. Keep track of everything. Your job is to keep receipts of everything you do. And then there's one for home improvement. Again, the more you do in Mary Kay, the more you can write off. I write off, when the roof needs a roof. I write off when we need a new furnace. I wrote off when I need to do another driveway. Okay? Again, the more you do, the more you're going to be able to write off. Now, if you just sell one tube of lipstick next year, you're probably not going to be able to write off $50,000 worth of receipts. So common sense applies here. But the more you do, the more they're going to take. But even in these building years, they will allow you to do an in-the-home business write-off. Okay? So that is kind of that sheet. So I would make your envelopes and get your system going. And that will simplify your taxes and make it no big deal. Okay? Another couple sheets that apply to your taxes is there is a sheet that looks like this where you're going to track your miles. Now, can you go out and buy another cutesy book somewhere? Yes. Can you write it on a piece of paper? Yes. Can you track your miles in your date book? Yes. I don't care where you track your miles. I just care where you track them. Because if there's one thing, my tax guy told me years ago, the number one write-off for newer, younger consultants is your mileage. We get a lot per mile. It was in the 50s recently for years, 50-some cents a mile. So that means when you go to the bank, yeah, you deposit some Mary Kay money, you write that off. When you go see your mother, yes, you write that off because you're going to talk to her about Mary Kay. So a lot of things you can do like that, but you have to track your miles. You will have to have a beginning odometer reading today of when you started your Mary Kay business. Okay, that's huge. And then on December 31st, I always try and send you out a message, but then at the end of December, on the 31st, you're going to log your miles. You only log Mary Kay miles. You don't log all your miles, you just log Mary Kay miles. And then between the difference between the beginning mileage and ending mileage, they figure out how much percentage of your car you used for Mary Kay, and then they write off all those miles. So, but my theory is where you went, right, the date, where you went, and your odometer reading. And how many miles did it take you to get to and from the Mary Kay meeting? Now, do I write the mileage down probably every time? Maybe not. But once in a while I do. You should. But if you forget, the biggest thing is make sure you have how many miles you drove to or from that Mary Kay meeting or to and from that delivery or that party. That's huge. Okay? So, track your mileage. And I don't care if you even run this off and just make a pad of these in your car. This will work fine to keep for your mileage. Okay? So that's your mileage. But it's important. This is just a sheet to remind you, and you can put this in your 3-ring binder office that I'm going to teach you to do later, but you're going to track anytime you give gifts away. You just have to remember, it's more important for you to give a teacher a mascara or a hand cream than it would be buy something from another store. Okay? So make sure anytime you give anything away as a gift, write it down. Anytime you pull anything off for demo, okay? Demonstration, you're going to add to that case. You're going to pull off eventually maybe a foundation primer. You're going to pull off different things you're going to add to that case to enhance that original starter kit. Those are all demos. Write that all off. Okay? Personal use. Oh my gosh. You should be a head-to-toe consultant. You should be using everything in our line. If you do not use everything in our line, you will not sell it. And you can take that to the bank. I promise you that. So, if I was you, I would track these 3 areas because this is all a huge write-off at the end of the year. How cool is it that you can use Mary Kay products and write them off? I think that's pretty cool. So, when I say head to toe, every time you place an order, you better be pulling something off that you're trying new. Perfumes, your husband, your children, my teenage sons use the clones, everything. We have Bath and Body. We have sun products. Be your own best customer, but track it. Okay, so that's another tracking sheet. So that's a little bit of just a quick thing on how to set your taxes up, and we'll talk more about that later on. But that's how you're going to get it set up so it's at least in good running order. Okay. Now let's jump to a new category. Let's talk about getting some things organized a little bit. Organizing your product, organizing your inventory, organizing your starter kit. Okay, the starter kit. All I can say about organizing your starter kit is you will learn as you go. Watch other consultants. Watch what the cute little boxes and things they get. Just watch and learn and figure that out as you go. Honest to goodness, there's no other way to learn that except watching and learning. Okay? And Mary Kay does have on MK Connections a lot of extra goodies you can eventually invest in. You don't have to invest in them day one, but if you want to get serious about your business, know that there's a place online called MK Connections that you can buy a beauty coat, that you can buy things to hold your foundations, or you can buy nice little extra things to get your products organized. But that's not day one. Okay, those are down the road as you want to get more serious. But so that's how you're going to organize the case. Organizing your inventory. Inventory, once you get your first order, your second order, I really don't care how you organize your inventory. I just want it organized. Okay, you just have to know where it is. If you know where it is, that's all we need to know. You need to go buy some little boxes or baskets so you can put the eyeshadows in some things, or go buy little Plano boxes that in the fishing tackle section to put all of our little eyeshadows in, or whatever. Go to the dollar store and buy some little baskets that you can line them up in. Don't care how you do it, but find some things to get yourself organized. Now, there's 2 different theories. You can organize it. If you see in my office, mine's all on a shelf. Okay? You can have it on a shelf if you want it on a shelf. That's good too. If you're doing business out of the house, I do a lot of business out of my home, but I'm pretty established, so a lot of people come here. In the early days when I was out doing more parties and going to other places, I would keep it in a suitcase. I would go, you can buy a Mary Kay one eventually, or you can go get just a black Mary Kay stewardess on wheels suitcase and put everything in a suitcase so that it's very mobile and it's on the go and ready to go. Because if you keep that suitcase packed, it will be less hassle to go to a party. Because yes, you should take product to these parties. Women want their products now. Do not be a lazy consultant and not take product. You tote your product with you. You leave it in the car unless it's 100 degrees. And I don't even care if you run to the trunk, even if you can't carry it. But people want on-the-spot delivery, so you do carry it with you, or the majority of it. Do you have to carry it all? No. You'll learn eventually. The more you do, you'll learn what to carry to and from a class. The only other thing I'll say about your inventory, whether you organize it one way or the other, is I want you to make sure that you do invest in the labels, that you do buy your Mary Kay business cards, that you do get those labels. Because one of the biggest things you need to do is you want to label all your products. Yes, you shake it out of the box, you put it on the jar itself, because when they're in the bathroom and their cleanser runs dry, you want it, okay? So, don't forget to label your product. But you'll get those labels right in that original business card kit. And what else can I say about that? And eventually you'll learn even more. You'll get some more glamour samples and all that kind of stuff too. There's many different ways you can organize even glamour samples and all of our samples that we keep investing into. But just know that you'll learn as you go on all this organizing of this kind of stuff. Okay? The next area is what I would call having a hostess program. Having a hostess program is again, one thing that you do have to have. Because if you look at any party plan, every party plan has some sort of hostess program. That is why people have a party with you. That is one big reason. People want free product. Now, here's my suggestion. I don't particularly care what program you use, but I do care that you pick one and you stick to it. What the biggest problem I see in the Mary Kay world over the many years is people are jumping to this one and jumping to this one. And again, there is so much out there for you guys to see that you just keep picking up a new idea and a new idea and a new idea. And we're on these whims all the time. Where when I came to Mary Kay, we had one program and we all used it and we got good at it. And I think that's why we were good in the beginning. We didn't have a choice. But now that we get too many choices and we get overwhelmed and we do nothing. Now, there is a book from the company. If you like this one, you're welcome to use this one. You can buy these from the company. It's on a very conservative 10% off, 15% off, and 20% off based on, if you have 1, 0, 1, or 2 bookings, okay? It's traditional. It's the company's one. You can use a booklet like this. There's ideas in this one. You can pick whatever one you want out of this one. Okay, these are just a couple more that I slipped in your packet. There's one that talks about having your hostess get $100 free. Okay, the buzz for her is that she gets $100 free product if she does some of these things down here. Now, this one you have to be a little more detailed because you have to remember and have them check this. And you have to check with her to see which one she did to figure out what hostess credit you get. So it's a little bit more detailed if you use this sheet, but if you're detailed, you'll be able to do it. Okay, there's another one again, but this is again my opinion, but this is my favorite, and it's just one that over the years I used to call it 5-finger discount because it's just based on 10 to 50%. And it goes from if you get one buying customer, let's say you have a hostess and she gets one buying customer to come, she gets 10% off. If she gets 2 and they both buy, 20, 3, 30, 4, 40. If she would get 5 women and they all buy, I would have no problem giving the hostess 50% off. Okay? It is the maximum you could give her, but I love my hostesses and I'm willing to give them that. If they provide 5 more people to me, I have no problem doing that. So that's my favorite. This particular sheet in here also attaches a brush set with it. This is just where you can actually sit at a party and have the hostess be spoiled with using the brush set. Everybody else uses cotton balls. The hostess uses the brush set. And then you can always show our brush set at every party and every class, making a big deal about it. And if they book their own party, they too can get this brush set along with their hostess credit at 50% off. So that's just, again, that's another one of them. I don't care which one you use, but my only worry is pick a hostess program and stick to it because you're never going to get good at something without repetition. It shouldn't be a question. If I would call you today and say, hey, I want to have a party with you, you should be able to say, bam, here's what I do. And the more you jump around, the more you're not going to know that. So that's just a little bit about having a hostess program. Okay? Show procedure. Show procedure, I cannot sit here and teach you show procedure on this particular video. But you can watch me in person, you can watch a recruiter, you eventually can watch another clip on a skincare class, okay? But what I will tell you here, sitting here with you, I will show you that, of course, in your starter kit are these profile cards. The minute you do any face or any class, you are going to have one of these profile cards. And they're going to fill it out. Every guest fills out one of these profile cards, okay? Then, if you had no clue what you're doing, it is a carbon copy. So if you flip the top page up, It would tell you what skincare. It would tell you what products in our line they should probably be getting. Okay? So that's our profile cards. That starts any appointment. Okay? In the middle of the appointment, I use a flip chart. I have another clip on this. Watch my next training on that one. But it's a flip chart that we use for my personal unit. And if you would just get used, this is what you do in the middle of class. Squirt, smile, nod, flip. Okay? That's how you can do an appointment, if you ask me. That's the middle of the class. Okay? Then the last part of a class, that I'm just going to brief you through a class here, is how you're going to end the class, which is called to close the class. Okay? Now, to close the class, in your same packet you have there, you have all these original white copies. Okay? You have white copies of tray inserts that they go under the clear trays in every mirror tray you have. Okay? And there is going to be a closing sheet. In the little clip training that I have, I teach you how to put our 4 skincare sets on 4 different colors. So that Time Wise Repair is on purple, Clear Proof is on green, Time Wise is on pink, and the Botanicals on white. So that when you see a tray insert under your tray that's green, you know to grab the green closing sheet. It's a very, very, very simple system. But there's a whole training session on my closing sheets, on how I use them, and there's a whole training session on the flip chart. So just know that both these trainings are available in very short, quick little clips for you to kind of learn that. So, but you do have to close. Do not close with just grabbing the lookbook and passing that out. You will overload people. Find a closing sheet that works. Hopefully these or another one. Don't even care which one you pick, but these are mine. These are the ones I use. But find a closing sheet. You need to close so that it's very clear at the end how people can buy products. You're not just out there doing Mary Kay and not selling. You are trying to sell product. So do not forget to close. So that's a little bit about, you start with a profile card, you squirt, smile, and nod, and flip that flip chart, and you close with these closing sheets. I hope that we'll try and make it simpler for you so that you don't worry or get all stressed out about going and doing your first face, your first party. Okay? So that's a little bit on show procedure. Let's jump to customer service. Customer service is what you're trying to build from day one. Okay? Customer service is what you're trying to build so that you can live off your customer base. You get to 100 people, you're going to be excited. You get to 200 people, oh my gosh. You get to 300, you don't ever have to have a real job again or more. But you're going to have to build it off customer base off these cards. Okay? You're going to have these cards. They fill them out in detail. You've got to make sure you get all their information. Okay? Then if I was you, I would go find some boxes that fit these. And I would find 2 boxes. And this is what I've taught from the beginning, and I'll continue to teach you. Go get some of these cards, or make them, don't care. And you go buy some of the ABCs, and you go buy some with birthday months on them. And if you can't find the birthday months because they're harder, get 2 ABCs and make your own. Okay? But I want you to have 2 boxes. The top copy I want you to tear off, and I want you to put it in the birthday month. Whether you start a birthday club today is not the question, but you make the file today. So down the road in your packet is an example of you can eventually make birthday cards for people, a birthday postcard, and you send them out at the beginning of the month, and you just follow up at the end of the month. Women will buy in their birthday, so make sure and do the birthday club. That is one of the earliest things I learned in my career, and to this day I do it, and everybody almost in my customer base buys in their birthday month. It's huge. It's very huge. So send out eventually postcards, but you don't have to start that today, but you make the file today. Okay? Then the bottom copy is the harder copy, and it's going to be filed by their name. So when Jane Doe calls, you pull Jane Doe when the dog ate her foundation tube, and you say, absolutely, I know you wear beige matte 5. I'll get one right to you. You're going to, on the back of this card, write what they bought from you. You can write anything up here when at the facial. What you did to the person at the facial, you put in the upper part. You write down their foundation. You write down what you did to their face that night. You write down what's on their wish list. Take notes on those women, okay, so you can remember. And at the bottom is where you log what they buy, okay? That's how you're going to run a profile card, so that you have everything, that she wore that day. So when she calls you 6 weeks later and says, I want that eyeshadow you put on me, you better write it down, or you're never going to remember. So that's just the little file boxes that I would make to keep your system going. Okay? Now, customer service is no more than get out there, find some customers, take good care of them, follow up with them. Mary Kay said you should call people every 6 weeks because she said, do you remember who called you 6 weeks ago? Nope. So she said call them on a regular basis, follow up with them, honor the 100% guarantee with them. That is what our product stands on. The company honors it from you, so do not worry. And Mary Kay said if you take care of them, they'll take care of you, money-wise. You can run fund sales anytime you want. That's your choice. The company, just know the company has a mailing system called PCP. And PCP is just called the Preferred Customer Program. Whereas when you get a customer, I go to my computer and I put them in my customers online. There's a section where you put all your customers in there. And so it's a backup of all your information, all your customers. You put that in the system. You put it in the computer. And then about 4 times a year, the company is going to produce an incredible book, seasonal, whether it be spring, winter, Christmas, or whatever. And those books come out 4 times a year. Then, if you're smart, you'll have the company do it. Okay? The company will do the mailing for you. They will buy the lookbook. They will mail it for you. They will write on it for you. A little message to every one of your customers. Dear Susie, from Linda, blah, blah, blah. Okay? They'll have samples in their book. And they do it all for like 70 cents a name. Okay, you just have to be smart enough to have your customers on the site. And then when it's time for a PCP, and when it's due, they don't give you 1 day extra. You go in, you just click on who you want to mail the books to that quarter. Best run system I've ever seen. Okay, now, if you don't use their system, your people don't get their magazines, and they don't buy. If one person buys out of your whole time, you'll pay for your mailing. Now, here's the next theory I tell you. Do not do it yourself. You can't afford to do it yourself. To do it yourself, you'd have to buy the book. Your books wouldn't have samples in them. Your books wouldn't be wrote on. You'd have to take the time to do it. You had to put it in a sleeve. And if you take our average lookbook to the post office tomorrow and mail it to somebody, it's going to cost you about $1.40. Company will do it for $70. So, know what PCP is and make yourself try and do it. It's, again, spending money to make money, but I tell you what, if you keep track of your customers with books every once in a while, they'll buy from you for a lifetime. But that's called PCP. Amazing run mailing that our company does for you if you're smart enough to tap into it. So that's a little bit on customer service. The last thing I want to end you with is just goal setting, okay? Goal setting from this day, okay? If I was sitting here as a new consultant, I just did training 1 and I did training 2 and I'm trying to get a few things together, I would be saying, okay, what do I do first? I would literally go back to those new consultant coupons that I had in training 1 that I showed you, okay? Those new consultant coupons that say, bring your first so many guests. Where's my coupons? Right here. Remember those little coupons? These little coupons. Go back and, try and get your first recruit. Go back and try and get 5 parties booked right away. Go back and try and get 3 guests to come to a meeting. Go back and finish winning your money bag. Those are little benchmarks. And these have been in Mary Kay forever. So I did these when I started, and they still work to this day. They're baby steps into Mary Kay. So you're going to track yourself with these first in goal setting. The next thing you're always going to track is a weekly summary sheet, like I told you. Then there's always usually a monthly contest with me. I keep it simple. I usually do the same thing every month. But I run a monthly contest because if you get focused in on trying to win something, cross over a finish line, and you have benchmarks in your business, you're going to go places. If you get up every day and just say, yeah, I'm going to do Mary Kay, you're dreaming. You're dreaming in a dreamy day. And there's no finish lines, and there's nothing to cross over. So, track yourself weekly, track yourself monthly, and then there eventually will be a quarterly program I can get you tracked on also, and I will talk to you that later down the road. But I really believe in tracking yourself a little bit so you have some benchmarks and some guidelines. So, at this point, I hope that helped you. There are a few more sheets in that pack that I gave you. There's a referral sheet, there is an outside order sheet, and there's a before and after sheet. Those are just all sheets that eventually you can learn to run your business with too. So if you have any questions about anything, feel free to call me after this training session. Make sure though that you have your coupon books ready to go, you have your inventory ready to go, and you have your showcase kind of organized a little bit, and you kind of have watched an observation, and or you're ready to go to your next meeting if you have one that you can get to. So that's my advice, a little bit, just a few little things as we go, but just know that you will learn this business as you go. Go out and make mistakes. There's no better way to learn this business than just going out and doing it, and you'll figure it out. Thanks.